Hi everyone, this is Andy and Shell from Fairway Cruising and Travel, and this one is for our bucket list. We recently returned from Machu Picchu as part of an independent 3-day, 2-night shore excursion off our cruise ship. We left the ship in Calais, Lima, and trained, bussed, flew, and then eventually walked our way to Machu Picchu. And it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah. In the video, we're going to take you through every step of the way. So from debarking from the ship, our flight to Cusco, the private transfer to Ollantaytambo, and including our lunch, which was a special kind of lunch, which we'd like to share with you. Then the train ride to the Sacred Valley, our accommodation overnight at Machu Picchu village, the bus ride up to Machu Picchu, and then finally that magical glimpse of the lost city. So whether you're wondering if it's possible to do this from a cruise ship, or whether you're interested to find out what altitude sickness or height might feel like, or if you just want to live the dream through us, then here's the place. You're in the right place to be.
And make sure you stay to the end. We're going to actually cover off the cost, the documentation and the logistics of getting on and off the ship, and whether it was really worth it or any other issues we encountered. So let's dive in.
So like and subscribe to our channel. Our journey to Machu Picchu, and that's pretty early. We've had to get up at 4:45 a.m. to go to collect our passport from the ship, and we'll be catching a shuttle to the airport to Lima. So yeah, feeling pretty excited. Okay, so we're on the bus, and you can see that this is the industrial port. It is absolutely beautiful.
Of proteins. When you eat a guinea pig soup, it knocks you off. You go to sleep right away, which means that it has high percent of protein, and it was also used for medicine.
So this is salt, and you can use many grated to grate it, demonstrated by John. Pepper, and this is salad, cheese, and looks like chips.
It's made with a certain kind of potatoes.
Okay.
I don't think that's as hot as the red.
Okay.
It's supposed to be really.
This is guinea pig on top, and this is lamb below. Corn, potato,
And this is cookie salad, and the orange is pepper.
salad, and special pancakes, and a very spicy pepper, I believe. So yeah, here we go. Thank you.
Go with the flow.
Trying the delicacy of guinea pig
A
called
little bit hairy.
suya. Suya. How do you pronounce it? Suya. Suya.
Yeah, that's kind of boring. Like, where do you find the meat?
What kind of bones are they? Leg bones, rib bones? It has.
Yeah. Like you can feel like you're being Jordan in some respects, like you said.
The thing's carved out of the hill up there.
Yeah, I saw that. And these terraces.
Then the terracotta tiles in town remind you of like a bit Mexican.
Yeah, and the
or Spanish
cobblestones and everything, don't they? Yeah, and then these terraces are amazing.
And we're gonna move a little quicker because we are on time for the train. Please follow me here. The bus is down here.
On the way.
please.
Heading
Announces the boarding of train number 45 at 406 in London.
So we've just arrived at our hotel and this is our room. One of the squares here, different restaurants. Organic's a big thing here too, like all the fresh fruit, fresh veggies, quinoa, corn, tomatoes, like it's yeah, fresh and organic food is really important too in here. Going over here to have a look at the Inca Trail. Hold on.
So we're heading up to Machu Picchu on the bus. Oh, mate's not taking his time. It's going pretty quick. He's looking back down the valley from where we just came from. It's like an overcast, but it's more like a misty day. But not raining, so that's good. See how we go.
Down there, and we'll meet up here. Okay? Restrooms down there, restrooms down here, and we'll meet up there. Where do we get? It's paid. The 2 soles. Do you have points? No. Or bills?
Yeah, right. So we're just passed and got our tickets. Walking up. Looking a bit overcast, but we'll see what happens. Well, 5 minutes and the fog just moved in. It'll probably clear in the next 10 minutes, but that's how thick it gets.
You cannot explain just how incredible this place is to come and see. We have 2 single beds, so that's going to be interesting tonight. And it's really nice and warm in here. And you can see little table, beds, phone, power outlets, USB ports. No USB port, sorry. There. And then that's our shower. Hair dryer, towel, etc. Looks like they're cute. And then our toilet. And that's our room for the night. Cheers. Okay, so it's 4:30 in the morning. The streets here at Cusco are very, very slim. Very, very slim. You can see they only fit 1 car down this old part of town. We're walking down the street to get our minibus to take us to the airport. It's an early start to go back to the ship. How you feeling, Andrew?
I'm pretty good now.
You're pretty good. How are you feeling, Missy?
Good. I had a little bite of toast and a half cup of tea, so
Yeah?
I feel rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated. How are you doing, Mark?
Slight headache, knees sore. So long as we're not going uphill, I should be fine.
But was it worth it
Oh
going?
no, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely worth it.
Really good.
Look at this.
The travel company is great.
We're heading down.
And prosperity. Always with you. El Pachamama will always take care of you. Right? No need to go to any place. Just close your eyes when you are at home and feel the flowing energy of the Mother Earth. Right? It's right in front of us and sometimes we don't even realize. Okay? Enjoy your travesty, enjoy your amazing journey, and remember, when you come back, I'll always be here waiting for you with a guinea pig. All right? With Guido.
Yeah, Guido.
Okay? And of course, if I come to visit you individually, I might have to go to the pet shop.
Okay, so would we do Machu Picchu again this way? Absolutely. Independently off the ship for 3 days, not a problem at all. But there are a few things that we do wish we had known beforehand.
Yeah, probably the main thing was acclimatising to the altitude. We travelled from the airport basically to the base of Machu Picchu and stayed there overnight and then bussed up to Machu Picchu the next morning, where we didn't feel any effects from altitude. Some of the key things we did was we took cocoa lollies. Some people chew on cocoa leaves, but the lollies are a lot more pleasant way to digest that. The other thing was to stay hydrated. And these were main keys provided by our guide. You know, stay hydrated, drink a lot of fluid, but mainly water. Alcohol, bit of a no-no. A funny story was we actually returned from Machu Picchu that afternoon just after lunch and had a lovely lunch as a group and consumed 2 or 3 beers. And I did notice when we went to walk around the town later on that we were more out of breath walking up 10 steps with 3 beers under our belt than we were hiking all around for 3 hours Machu Picchu. So alcohol can have an effect on you. So just be cautious. It feels okay while you're sitting there having a meal and having a drink, but when you get up and start to move around again, it's quite noticeable. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So I mean, we just stayed hydrated. Take it easy. Just be mindful. But again, after walking up to Machu Picchu from the bus station and walking around, most of your climb is done early in your excursion. You'll walk for 20 minutes up and then tend to meander for probably 2.5 hours down back to the bus station. So while the first 10, 15, 20 minutes is a little bit uphill, the rest is just kind of cruising down. The paths are, well worn, easy to navigate. There's not a lot of trip hazards, but you do have to be alert.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think, something that I'd kind of like to share is about documentation. So we debarked from the ship at Lima, and then we were to embark at the ship at Pisco. So we were off the ship for, 2 nights. So we had to apply for what they call an interport itinerary deviation form. And with that form, we had to have approval prior to our journey, prior to boarding the ship. So we submitted that to Princess. They approved it. And then once we received that, we were actually advised that we had to print it and to hand it to guest services on the day that we boarded the ship, so that they were aware that we were intending to, to deviate from the itinerary. So that was something really important to know.
Do you remember how long before we got on the ship we did that?
We did it well in advance. As soon as we knew
6
we were
weeks?
heading at least. Yeah, there are time frames.
6 to 8 weeks before, a couple of months before. The sooner you can get it done, obviously the better it is.
Yeah, there's time frames associated with it, like you say. It is on the Princess website, so you can also check on that as well. The other thing is making sure that you have your passports. You do need to take them with you. So when we first boarded the ship in San Pedro, they collected all of our passports. So we had to then, on the day that we were debarking, we had to line up and obtain those passports back so that we could take them. And then when we re-embarked in Pisco, we had to hand our passports back to the ship. You would have seen that in the video when we were leaving. It took a bit of time to do that as well, didn't it? To have that organised.
The context of that was this was a 51-day cruise. We were going to several countries. So the majority of those countries, the ship was taking care of our immigration in and out of those countries, and hence that's why they needed our passport. So that's why they take it off you at the beginning and basically would keep it to the end. But due to us debarking for those couple of days, we had to get it back. So, most trips you'll find around South America, that's pretty common practice with the cruise ships.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about too was the costs. So when we're looking at, costs for a couple really. So for our tour, and we did this through Rebecca Adventure Travel, and we will put a link to their website down in the comments. The cost us $900 USD per person, and this was having our wonderful guide Edward for 3 days, the private bus transfers for our group, the lunch at Oli Te Tambo, the train to the Sacred Village, accommodation overnight at Machu Picchu Village that included breakfast, the bus up to and return from Machu Picchu itself, entry tickets to Machu Picchu, the train back, transfers back to Cusco, and a farm visit to Lima on the way. A Lima farm visit, alpaca farm visit. That's what it was. Sorry, and then overnight in Cusco, and then private transfers back to Cusco Airport. So that per person was $900 USD. Also, there were flights to and from Lima. So they were about, I think it was about $205 USD per person return. Yeah. And then we also had private transfer too, because that wasn't as part of our package. So we had to organise a private transfer from Lima to Pisco, and they drove us down there. I think that was around about $50 USD a person from memory.
It was a small bus with the 10 of us on it.
Yeah.
I must admit, I thought the inclusive accommodation, especially up in Machu Picchu,
it was great.
It was there's like a river that runs through it. We had a balcony overlooking the river, and it was really nice.
Yeah,
it was good. We can't speak highly enough of Rebecca Travel, and they were a very good operator with a great tour guide.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the main issues, do you reckon, that we encountered then?
I don't think there was too many issues, but there's things to be aware of. I think clothing is something to talk about. Make sure you wear really good footwear. They can be a runner, but make sure they got good grip. A lot of the little towns and places you visit are like a cobblestone streets, and they slope up and down. There's always a little bit of rain around because it can shower. That's the second part of what I'd like to say is temperatures and weather conditions can change very rapidly. You can be hot, warm, sunny. You're walking around, you can feel quite hot. You want to just have a t-shirt on, and then 10 minutes later, you could be cloudy, overcast, and showering rain. So you need to have that weatherproof jacket you can throw on pretty quick in a backpack.
Certainly happened to us, didn't it?
And then also at night when you're in these certain towns and in little cities and you're walking around, the temperature can drop down quite significantly. So a light jumper that you can again throw on, take off easy, it's comfortable, is well worth it. So it's your normal type of travel gear, a light rain jacket, and clothes that you can lay up to take on and off, and really comfortable, appropriate shoes and footwear, because you are walking over tracks, trails, and cobblestones and all the rest of it. So just, spend a little bit of time and effort in making sure you have the right clothing with you when you go.
Excellent. Yeah. What else do you think about? I'm thinking about Chilean pesos. We didn't get any of those, did we?
No.
We should have got some of those. It would have been handy to have. In fact, we were told we didn't need them, but we found that it would have been helpful to have some.
We got away without having them, but just for slight convenience, like I think one or two of the toilets were local currency to use, a peso or two. The main part of what we should have done is when we left the ship and we travelled to the airport, when we got to the airport, we probably could have gone to an ATM and used, got some local currency, which would have been good. Majority of the time we did have US dollars. Again, if you're going to use US dollars, have small denominations, 5s and 1s and all the rest of it. Majority of places will take it and accept it, and you won't have any problem. You don't want to change too much into Chilean currency, because if you're left over with it, you're not going to get anything for it when you change it back. So try and minimise it, but having $10 or $20 worth, or even $50 for that 3-day excursion, you wouldn't have any trouble disposing of it.
Yeah.
The other thing was when we transferred from the ship to the airport, not issues, but be aware of time frames. The actual, if you Google mapped it, it's probably a 10 or 15 minute taxi ride. We had a shuttle bus that the actual ship provided to us, because there were several people, probably 50 odd, that were actually doing similar type excursions, not with us, and they were kind enough to actually supply us a bus to do it.
Yeah.
But we drove out the port, hit the port gates, and the main road was chock-a-block. The traffic and the trucks, it is a commercial port. People were trying to get in and out. It took us over an hour to get to the airport.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. It is like any large city. It can have traffic issues, especially at that time of morning. You're talking 7:30, 8 o'clock, peak hour. I would always at least allow an hour or so. Don't make your flight early in the morning. We originally were looking at going around 7:30, but as we got closer to the day, the group decided to push that back to around about 10:30, 11 o'clock, which was a blessing. We did do the right thing. It just took the pressure off us. We were sitting in that bus with other people that had 7:30, 8 o'clock flights and did not make it.
No.
And then there's just,
stressful.
There was other people in the group also that just went for the day. They flew there early in the morning, went for the day, and flew back.
Yeah.
I really couldn't recommend that. I would just think it would not be enjoyable. I think if you're going to do it, it's really worth doing it over that 3 days. It just makes it a lot pleasant experience. Obviously, when we flew back to Calais and Lima, we then pick up a private transfer that drove us. It was probably about 3.5, 4 hours nearly to get back to Pisco.
Yeah.
But we got there about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We had an early flight when we came back, and it still gave us a little bit of time to wander around the city before getting back on that ship that night. And that left at I think around about 5 o'clock or so. But every cruise is different.
Yep.
But just be aware of that. Just allow yourself plenty of time in between your flights and your transfers to and from the ship.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely great advice, because we know that there was some people that were being stressful, and like you said, it was a commercial port, so we were advised that taxis couldn't come down to the ship or anything like that, and honestly, you wouldn't want to walk through that port. You'd see on the video how huge it is, and all the different shipping containers there and that, so we just
hundreds of trucks.
Yeah,
going in there and out. They were queued up, you know, for 2 kilometres trying to get in. That was half the traffic jam of the morning.
Is there anything else you can think of?
No, I think that's covering a lot of the highlights.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else?
No, I don't believe so. So look, we really hope that this gives you the confidence to consider something like planning this on your own for your own cruise adventures. Let us know in the comments if Machu Picchu is on your list. Certainly, definitely worth visiting.
Yeah, I think if you've got any questions, just put them in the comments below and we'll be happy to answer to the best of our ability. And also we'll leave a contact for Rebecca Travel. They were good.